Closed circuit television CCTV, এটা হচ্ছে ICC 2019. It helps to monitor the activities of the students. Installation of CCTV will help eliminate the instances of bullying and vandalism. The nuisance created by unruly students often result in disgruntled situation. Disgruntled situations. These situations disturb the academic atmosphere of the classroom. If CCTV is installed, children will shun from these nuisances for the fear of being caught. That it helps to monitor the activities of the students. Installation of CCTV will help eliminate the instances of bullying and vandalism. The nuisance created by unruly students often result in disgruntled situation. Vandalism মানে action involving deliberate destruction or damage to public or private property. আর disgruntled মানে angry. Ingenious মানে clever, original. Brandish মানে to move something in the air in an aggressive way. কি বলছে? The nuisance created by unruly students often result in disgruntled মানে angry, disgruntled situation. These situations disturb the academic atmosphere of the classroom. If CCTV is installed, children will shun from these nuisances for the fear of being caught. Third point, CCTVs are effective in catching those students red hand for adopting unfair means during the examinations. The the ingenious ways adopted, ingenious মানে clever. The ingenious ways adopted, ingenious, ingenious ways adopted by the students today are impossible to be detected by the invigilator. However, the watchful eyes of the camera will be able to keep strict vigilance on such unscrupulous activities. The video feeds often serve as irrefutable evidence. The video feeds often serve as irrefutable evidence for disciplinary action later on. This has made installation of CCTV in examination halls mandatory for all competitive and board exams. Besides monitoring the activities of the students in the classrooms, it helps the authorities to observe the activities of the teachers in the classrooms. Some people are of the opinion that the video feeds can be misused. However, if password is set, then it would provide safeguard against such misuse. CCTV cameras ensure that all the children of different academic abilities are treated equally and no audiovisual evidence can be tampered by the school authorities. The first point, it helps to monitor the activities of the students. Second, installation of CCTV with the help of will help eliminate the instances of bullying and vandalism. Third point, the nuisance created by unruly students often result in disgruntled situation. The situations disturb the academic atmosphere of the classroom. If CCTV is involved, children will shun from these nuisances for the fear of being caught. Number four, CCTVs are effective in catching those students red hand for adopting unfair means in examinations. The ingenious ways adopted by the students today are impossible to be detected by an invigilator. However, the watchful eyes of the camera will be able to keep strict vigilance on such unscrupulous activities. Number five, the video feeds often serve as irrefutable evidence for disciplinary action later on. This has made installation of CCTV in examination halls mandatory for all the competitive and board exams. Number six, besides monitoring the activities of the students in the classrooms, it helps the authorities to observe the Activities of the teachers in the classroom. Number 7, some people are of the opinion that the video feeds can be misused. However, if password is set, then it would provide safeguard against such misuse. Number 8, CCTV cameras ensure that all the children of different academic abilities are treated equally and audiovisual evidence can be tampered by the school authorities. Number 9, the CCTV footage can be used to improve classroom teaching and child management. Number 10, schools, especially the corporate ones, charge a huge sum of money should ensure transparency. The children should not be exposed to any risk due to untoward behavior of any staff member of the school. Any kind of such misconduct or misdemeanor will readily be captured on the CCTV screen. Number 11. A few people are of the opinion that teachers will not be able to follow their natural pedagogy or teaching methodology if CCTV monitor them. This argument has, however, been negated by the Delhi High Court on a PIL filed against them regarding this order of installation of CCTV. The court, however, has denied the claim that the teachers will not have comfort enough to teach if CCTV keeps strict vigilance on them. Number 12, a good teacher will never have to be apprehensive of his conduct in front of the school authorities. Number 13, CCTV ensure transparency in the system of education in the schools. If teachers and students follow the timetable and decorum of the school, then CCTV can be no hindrance. Number 14, schools must implement the biometric system for attendance, which will make the teachers punctual. Similarly, the installation of CCTV in the classrooms will make the students more disciplined. Number 14, cameras inside the classrooms need to be perceived from the point of view of their desired effectiveness. Number 15, some teachers might have the tendency of resorting to white lies when the school administrators evaluate them. Many students or Mm, many students or school authorities and even the teachers are sometimes falsely accused of something that they have not done. Number 16. All such problems can be eliminated with one little desire that occupies a negligible amount of space at one corner of the ceiling. Number 17. The little piece of technology is a surveillance camera which can trace a steady path for the smooth functioning of an institution which claims to be a temple for academic excellence. CCTV camera will not only solve a lot of disciplinary problems but would also generate a proper conductive academic environment in the classroom. Private tuitions, for or against. I can confidently assert that private tuitions are a necessary evil. I can confidently assert that private tuitions are a necessary evil. Nowadays, parents lay undue stress on marks and percentage. Number two, the popularity of private tuitions can be attributed to the declining standard of teaching, especially in government schools. Schools being understaffed find it difficult to cater to the need of so many students. Number three, sadly to say that private tuition has commercialized education. Name a career and we have the experts to guide you. But wait, there is a big price tag with everything. Commercialization of education can never be justified. The skyrocketing charges cannot be afforded by every parent. Number 4, private tuition takes away the self learning drive of the students. With the gradual increase in private tuitions, the cognitive capability of the students is decreasing. Number 5, apart from damaging the fecundity of the students, the culture of private tuitions has partially contributed to the deteriorating quality of teaching in the schools and colleges. Number 7, Believing that most of the students will come for private tuitions, the teachers at school do not find enough motivation to teach the students with optimal potential, and they consequently become stuck in delivering lectures. Slack in delivering lectures. Slack money, not not TAUT, taught. No, not taunt, TNT, tant, or held tightly in position. মানে loose. Become slack in delivering lectures. Slack মানে loose হয়ে যাওয়া. The hapless students, the helpless students who hail from helpless students who hail from poor socioeconomic background become the worst sufferers as their parents fail to pay the hefty amount to the mercenaries. হ্যাপলেস মানেও আছে, HAPLESS, হ্যাপলেস মানে আনফরচুনেট. Tuition business has become relegated to the status of just another money making industry. Tuition industry rides the piggyback of the deteriorating quality of education. Tuition industry rides the piggyback of the deteriorating quality of education. Recently, number 10, recently a Nobel laureate Amartya Sen conducted a study on tuition culture and its impact on education. After analyzing all the pros and cons of the issue, he came to the conclusion that tuition culture creates a wide divide between the students and the well needed family and the students who hail from poor socioeconomic background. He recommended a blanket ban on the teachers offering private tuitions. He recommended a blanket ban on the teachers offering private tuitions to the students. The number 11, the mounting number of cases of depression, insomnia, myopia, astigmatism, and even suicides provide a stark reminder of the impact of extreme pressure in the young minds. Number 11, the competitive environment has destroyed the innate ability and creativity of the students. In order to maintain their grades, the poor children have to make a B line between the tuition classes and school. Instead of playing in the lush green fields or taking afternoon naps, they spoil their childhood to adhere to the curriculum and rules of their school. The double dose of homework from both school as well as the coaching classes leaves little or no line time for relaxation and rejuvenation. Playtime has become a mirage for this generation of students. Often it has been observed that the school teachers insist the students to take private tuitions from them. Most of the parents succumb to the pressure because they fear reprisals, 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 whereas only a few reprisal মানে প্রতিশোধমূলক কর্ম. Reprisal, they fear reprisal, whereas only a few have the courage to take the cudgels against the malpractice. Cudgel, CUDGEL, cudgel মানে a short quick stick used as a weapon. The courage to take up cudgels against the malpractices. Number 15, 13, the government of several states or West Bengal has banned private tuitions by the teachers of school, colleges, and universities. The ban has announced to ensure that the teachers give their best in the class because the lure of private tuitions often prompt a teacher to be irregular in the class and slack his duty. Teachers who have inclination towards private tuitions often question papers or give better grades to the students who take tuitions from him. Instead of Number 14, instead of complying to the order of the government, it is often breached. Number 15, the two main reasons for the lawmakers to criminalize private tuitions are it favors the segment of rich population only. Secondly, it is a gross crucial injustice that teachers that teachers will concentrate in private tuitions, evading their genuine responsibility of giving their best in the classrooms. Smoking should be banned in public places. Public smoking was banned to reduce the risk of heart attacks, particularly among the young individuals and uh, non smokers. Researchers have found that smoking bans can reduce the number of heart attacks by as much as 26% per year. Public smoking bans seem to be tremendously effective in reducing heart attacks and theoretically might also help to prevent lung cancer, emphysema, emphysema. These diseases develop much more slowly than heart attacks. Second-hand smoke exposure is nearly as harmful to the heart as chronic active smoking. Direct smoking doubles the risk of heart attack. Therefore, second-hand smoke has serious negative health consequences. Heavily exposed people are like those working in the entertainment or hospitality industries are likely to accrue the greatest benefit from the smoking bans. Unlike other self indulgent behaviors like eating fast food or drinking alcohol in public, second hand smoke is not only linked with the one who smokes. The negative effects of smoking in public carry over uh, into other people's lives with a tangible, measurable, and permanent impact. Whereas eating too much fast food or excessive alcohol consumption is harmful to consumer and its effect on others is minimal. Cigarette butts accounts for millions of pieces of litter annually. The smokers never dispose of the butts in vats or dustbin. Therefore, smoking bans would reduce litter. The lingering odor of stale cigarettes is very annoying and unpleasant. Cigarette smoke tends to linger on people's clothes, hair, and takes longer to fade away even after the offending party has left. It is the responsibility of every employer to provide a safe and healthy environment to the employees. If an employee smokes, the non smoker may find it very irksome to become a second hand smoker. Millions of people die across the world because of cancer and heart attack caused by smoking. It is because there is statutory one This because of this there is statutory warning on each packet state cigarette packet CIGARETT cigarette packet stating cigarette smoking is injurious to health. Despite this, people smoke. Smoking cigarettes not only harms the smoker but also endangers the life of others who are exposed to passive smoking. Cigarette smoking has now become a fashion. Many psychologists have done detailed statistical studies to investigate why people smoke. Their findings are indeed shocking. Some of the reasons given by smokers are that it is habit forming, increases concentration, aids in killing time, and helps to be in fashion. These are purely psychological whims without any concrete reason. On the other hand, specific medical studies have confirmed a direct linkage between nicotine that is present in tobacco and high incidence of heart attack, nicotine and the high incidence of heart attack and cancer in smokers, even passive smokers, even in active smokers as well as in passive smokers. These are dreadful diseases and at times prove fatal. The fortunate few who manage to survive its clutches through expensive surgery and medication remain scared for life. They ultimately quit smoking and are compelled to adopt a very strict and somber lifestyle to live. These are purely psychological whims without any concrete reason. On the other hand, specific medical studies have confirmed a direct linkage between nicotine and the high incidence of heart attack and cancer in smokers, even passive smokers. These are dreadful diseases and at times prove fatal. No one has the moral right to smoke in public places, thereby exposing innocent people to the vagaries of this scourge. Someone rightly said, "You smoke, we choke." Smoking in public places is also an infringement on the fundamental rights of our fellow citizens, for it violates their right to live. One can argue that banning smoking would violate the fundamental right of an individual. This is untrue, for no one has the right to endanger his own as well as the life of others around him. Taking note of serious danger to public health, countries like US and UK have banned smoking in public places. The immediate fallout has been a drastic reduction of 30 to 40% in cases of cancer and heart attack cases. The increasing trend of this disease in our country makes it imperative for the government to also ban smoking in public places. Indeed, the consequences of smoking are grave. Besides placing a statutory message on cigarette packets, something more needs to be done to curtail smoking. This calls for building public opinion against smoking and ban smoking in public places. When an adult smokes publicly in a fashionable manner, the youngsters find it very charming and they too feel tempted to smoke. It seems to carry it to be a status symbol and sign of virility. If smoking is banned, these negative effects will not be there in the society. Impact of modern entertainment on the society. Careful analysis and reflection have shown how entertainment has played a powerful role in shaping the culture of our society. The media and television program are programming our minds through the influence of gripping entertainment. The growing use of smartphones makes this problem more dominant by targeting the youth of the society. This entertainment put indelible mark in our minds and leave long lasting influence on us. Nowadays, children's future is crafted by the wizard of negative entertainment and the media. Introduction. Entertainment is all about grabbing the attention and interest of the audience. It also brings pleasure and delight. With this powerful combination, the modern means of entertainment has been influencing us a lot. However, entertainment adds excitement to life. It can provide an escape from the bleak and drab reality. We can fantasize by seeing the virility of our favorite heroes. Through the ages, entertainment has changed as much as the human race. The ancient Romans commonly held gladiator games in the Colosseum, Coliseum. A gladiator was usually someone who was dead to the society or was a slave. He was forced to fight in the stadium against other gladiators and even with starved lions or other vicious animals. The sport was brutal and gory. Gory. Today's youth cannot imagine a life without Xbox, PSP, or handheld consoles. The ever popular Grand Theft Auto Grand Theft Auto can be seen in the hands of school children. The player can drink, visit strip clubs, shoot police and murder civilians at the touch of a button. The game producers don't even try to keep the gore moderate. Blood is everywhere. Is this any better than the Coliseum? Coliseum. Coliseum. even if it is just a game. Brain Age for Nintendo DS is a mind trainer. Big Brain Academy encourages constructive activity. Movies like Wolfman, Legion, Inglorious Bastards, Shutter Island, Crazy simply advertise bloodshed, gore, and other things that lead to domestic problems. Crazy simply advertise blood. Acha. Sports are entertaining but can be just as dangerous as other type of modern media. Olympic level athletes are rarely without any injury as their career often demands that. There are some educational channels in the television which we can watch for acquiring knowledge. Next, ICC 2017. It was raining hard that night. In a hurry to get into the house, I didn't notice that the black car parked across the road. I realized that something was wrong when I heard some strange muffled voices coming from inside the car. MUFF muffled voices coming from inside the car. To add to my apprehension, saw a man dressed in black was talking to the people who were sitting inside the car. I felt a shiver down my spine. I felt a chill down my spine. After a short conversation, the man dressed in black quickened his pace. I smelled something fishy when I saw two people coming out of the car. They accompanied the fellow mate, dressed in black, and walked towards a nearby house. I was astonished. They were heading towards Mr. Nayar's house. A septuagenarian couple, septuagenarian couple stayed in that house, and their son and both their sons settled in UK. I felt a heavy pressure in my chest, a persistent tightness. I at once dialed 100. I tipped off the police about the robbers. At this time, the gang pressed the calling bell, and the old couple who were in deep slumber woke up and opened the door. As soon as they opened the door, six armed men entered their house away house. I did not have the courage to go outside and extend my help. I was constantly praying to the providence so that the police came as early as possible. However, before the dacoits could extort anything, the policemen arrived. The dacoits carried pistols, cartridges, and revolvers. Cartridges and revolvers. Before the police could nab all the six dacoits, one of them absconded from the back door of the house. Uh, the gang members had connections with several heinous crimes. Later on, police investigated and found that the gang members had connections with several heinous crimes that took place in the past. The old couple stood petrified. The police busted the dacoits, busted the dacoits and interrogated them. They were found to be involved in 8 cases of dacoity and robbery in the past few months. একটুখানি description লাগবে শুরুর. The gang admitted that they had allegedly plotted their house because they had an information of a withdrawal of rupees 1 crore by the Nayar family the previous day. The information was absolutely true as Mr. Nayar was about to buy a property in Mahim area of Mumbai and the maid servant overheard their conversations. She secretly passed the information to one of the dacoits who happened to be her husband. The police had arrested the maidservant as well. Servant as well. The legal action is underway. However, the whole gang is liable for punishment and would have to undergo rigorous imprisonment. The police congratulated me for my bravery and support, whereas the Nair family extended their cordial thanks to me. Next, narrate an incident from your own experience when you helped your friend who was in trouble. What did you do to make the situation better? ICC 2017. I remember an incident when I acted as a good Samaritan. I still remember that I was in my 10th standard. All of us were busy preparing for our board examination. At 8 p.m., I suddenly got a call from my friend Kaushal. He was wailing badly as his friends met with an accident that evening. Kaushal hails from a poor economic background and he did not have enough funds to admit his parents in a high class hospital. The injury of his parents was serious and they needed an emergency surgery. Kaushal's father had spine injury to prevent paralysis, he needed an emergency surgery. His mother needed a vertebral augmentation surgery and she too required kyphoplasty, kyphoplasty as soon as possible. Kaushal was aware of the fact that my father is an orthopedic surgeon. Surgeries done after car accidents are discectomy, discectomy, kyphoplasty, kyphoplasty, and laminectomy. His father had a compound bone fracture and he needed several surgeries. আর ওই কথাটা লিখতে it was like a bolt from the blue for him. Uncle and auntie were hired a cab and was on their way home from the market. Suddenly their car collided with another car that was coming from the opposite direction. The driver was spot dead. The accident of Kaushal's parents could also be fatal if they were not admitted to the best hospital of the city. They lay they laid unconscious and were bleeding profusely. The passers-by had informed Kaushal about the incident and Kaushal called me up wailing and telling about the predicament. I at once informed my father without thinking twice. He arranged for quick medical action. Auntie's blood group was O and I O negative and as this group is rare, I ran from pillar to post and to every blood bank. I called up at several places and finally came across a donor. As I am a member of the Red Cross, I started collecting funds. I knocked at every door and asked for monetary help. People voluntarily donated money. I, as a good deeds give us immense joy, bad deeds cause deep regret. I requested Kaushal to come and stay at my home and promised to extend every possible help from me. He studied together. I supported him emotionally and tried to collect funds necessary for his parents' treatment. My parents also supported me in my noble endeavor. His parents are still recovering and are under strict medical supervision. Kaushal has gone black back home. We too have extended monetary help to them. They would remain obliged to me and my family forever. They treat me like their own son. I am proud of myself. এটা একটা এমনি ছোট্ট লেখা আছে things to be done after a road accident. Call 100 and take the victim to the hospital as soon as possible. Call an ambulance. If severe hemorrhage takes place, asphyxia মানে ASPHYXIA cardiac arrest can take place. How far the little candle throws its beam, so shines a good deed in the naughty world. William Shakespeare. How far the little candle throws its beam, so shines a good deed in the naughty world. William Shakespeare, Merchant of Venice. Good deeds give us immense joy and satisfaction, whereas bad deeds give us deep regret and unhappiness. Next, he was the funniest boy I had ever met. He would make everyone laugh. To be bereaved of someone like him is a punishment indeed. He was a convivial boy, convivial, convivial boy. His father's untimely demise has left him spellbound. Uh, his he met with an accident on last Wednesday. He was on his way home from office. The road was wet and the chauffeur lost control over the car and Mr. Nair met with a fatal accident. He was my neighbor. Vishal Vishal's sense of humor and adventurous streak could impress all and sundry. মানে ভিশালের বাবা মারা গেছিল। মানে after the bereavement, he never failed to entertain others and he এই bereavement ওয়ার্ডটা ঠিক করে কিভাবে ইউজ করতে হবে সেটা দেখতে হবে। He never failed to entertain others and he was a wonderful mimicry artist. He is witty and creative. He has a great sense of timing. He knows when it is the right time to tease or when it is perfect to keep his mouth shut. His observant nature impressed me. Pranksters are secretly sensitive, and that is why they have good sense of humor. He is my bestie and I loved playing with him. It was impossible to stay upset for a long time with his cute little smart in front of you. He knew how to make everybody laugh through tears. He was the funniest boy I had ever met. He would make everyone laugh until their stomach ached with laughter. He never failed to entertain others and was witty and creative. He had a great sense of timing. He knew when it was right time to crack jokes and when to keep mum. His jovial and convivial nature made him popular amongst his besties. His observant and humorous nature impressed all and sundry. It was impossible to stay upset for long in front of him. He never cracked negative or sarcastic jokes, rather, his rejoinders were witty and prompt. However, little did anybody know that he would be in pain so early in his life. After battling with an aggressive form of malignancy, his father passed away. They were flat broke and were flat broke and were living hand to mouth. The ultimate untimely demise of his father put the family in a miserable condition. To be bereaved of a benevolent parent, to be bereaved of a benevolent আগের এসেটা লেখা যাবে না, to be bereaved of a benevolent parent was like a bolt from the blue to him. The smile on his face was lost. He started facing both economic and psychological crisis. It was a great blow that life had given him at such a tender age. He was drowned in sea of sorrow and hopelessness. He refused to talk and looked like a dying duck in a thunderstorm. Vishal's mother took him to a psychiatrist. Examining him closely, the psychiatrist took Vishal to a few ailing children who were suffering from deadly diseases. Seeing them, Vishal realized that the world is full of sorrow and every man should fight for existence as long as he is alive. He realized that he would have to smile for his mother, his friends, and above all for himself. He would have to stand up once again after grief knocks him down. Although grief knocked him down, he has a long way to walk forward in his life. Vishal played with them every day as he had a great sense of humor. Doctor asked him to meet those children every day and make them laugh as it was an important part of their treatment. Vishal started finding a meaning in his life, found his life to be worth living. The sick children were impressed by his nature. Dying duck in the thunderstorm having a look of dejection and helplessness but hopelessness. Life is an unending journey filled with sufferings and pitfalls, but he must be courageous and sporting enough to fight for his own existence. After all, every cloud has a silver lining. You were on a school trip when your car broke down in a lonely area. It must have been around midnight. A clank clank was hard, and the sudden screech of the tires jolted me out of my slumber. Rubbing my eyes, I peered out of the window of the bus and saw pitch darkness all around. The bus jolted before the engine stopped working completely. Surinder, the driver, and Juginder, the conductor, tried hard to revive the engine. However, they did not succeed. What happened? I asked Sunil, who was sitting next to me. As if in answer to my query, the lights came on and the driver's cabin door opened. Our conductor and guide, a short, stout man with a receding hairline, emerged, gesticulating with his hand and uttering, "Axle has broken." He groaned in disgust and we slumped back on our seats. Peering at the wristwatch, I realized that we had barely traveled an hour from Dudhwa National Park and were about another hour's journey to our hotel in Lakhimpur. I saw the Jane's jungle peering out of the window. Juginder opened the bonnet and inspected inside. All of us alighted from the bus. A sudden fear crept into my heart. I anxiously observed the surroundings. One of my friends carried a torchlight, and I saw nothing but tall sal and sesame trees. Their leaves rustled in the mild breeze. This too seemed quite loud in the sudden silence that had enveloped us. Our teachers were very anxious. They assured us that at the break of the dawn we would get some other bus that would ferry us back to the hotel. They warned us, telling not to venture out in the dense jungle. The stern warning made some students who had scampered out of their seat to stretch their legs outside slump back. Ayush, Manish, and Sunil were daredevils and they tempted us to enter the thick woods. The crickets and grasshoppers made stridulating sounds. So many insects buzzed, whined, hammered, and droned. Vishal scoffed at us and did not agree to accompany us. I too was scared, but Ayush coerced me. I somehow relented. As Ayush and I stepped into the dense undergrowth, we heard a rustle as if some animal had just scurried away. All of us tiptoed ahead, determined to use each other as shield. An earthly fragrance of an unusual variety wafted in the air. The occasional hooting of an owl, chirping of the nocturnal birds, and a loud alarm call of the langur echoed in the jungle. The creepy, spookish, uncanny, weird sound sent a chill down my spine. I felt my throat parched dry. All of a sudden, we heard the snarl of a jaguar leopard. It could, in all probability, herald the presence of a leopard in the vicinity. We felt uneasy and tried to get a glimpse of the elusive animal who would perhaps step out of the darkness and devour us. My pulse started racing at a high speed. Danger seemed to be lurking nearby. A strange feeling crept amongst us. All of us smuggled together and decided to run back towards the road where we left behind Bas, our teachers, and our friends. The first primroses are considered as the herald of spring season. I had read stories of Jim Corbett and how he killed man eaters. We realized our mistake and cursed ourselves. We realized our mistake and cursed ourselves as we disobeyed our teachers. We quickened our pace and suddenly got a glimpse of our herd of Nilgiri guys. We huffed and puffed as we had to run a long distance towards the road. At night, we saw a streak of light and were glad to make out that we had a narrow escape. Our teachers scowled and scolded us very badly. I found many of my friends had dozed off to sleep inside the bus. It was almost dawn by this time. The aura of crimson light could be seen from the eastern horizon. Our teachers arranged for a bus, and by 5 o'clock we reached our hotel room. All of us were famished. We had a sumptuous breakfast and we dozed off to sleep. We were badly in need of a peaceful nap. How city has changed after I came back. ICC 2005. Self-driven cars were not present in the city 5 years ago. It is a prominent application of artificial intelligence, and I am proud to be an Indian because, like the developed countries in the world, India too is not lagging behind in science and in the advancement of science and technology. After 5 years, when I was about to land upon Mumbai, the first thing that met my eyes was a cramped sprawl of corrugated iron-roofed huts. They are right next to the airport runway, quietly yet powerfully reminding us that we are entering a city where nearly half of the population lives in slum areas. Government has tried his best to decrease the number of some slum dwellers in the city in the last 5 years, but the effort went in vain. When the percentage of slum dwellers are increased so much that people call Mumbai by the nickname Slumbai. Many of the slum dwellers are not the official poor people who live below the poverty line, but are well educated middle class people who are deprived of adequate housing. Dharavi, the largest slum in Mumbai as well as in Asia, is a home to large number of micro industries. When I left Mumbai, the city was expensive, but not as expensive as it is now. It has become a more difficult place for the middle class or lower middle class people to survive. The shopping mall industry already took a hit with the advent of e-commerce by the year 2010. The Indian citizens has now discovered more clean, vibrant, climate-controlled, technology-enabled malls replete with plethora of brands. 5 years back, I did not get cosmetics of all the leading foreign brands. However, at present, every cosmetic product of every foreign brand is available in Mumbai. Rapid urbanization, digitally, digitization, digitalization, এটা দেখতে হবে spelling. Robotics technology has changed my city a lot. The makeshift shops and number of itinerant salesmen have also decreased. The rich people have become more rich. The millionaires have become billionaires, but the poor have become more poor. The difference between haves and have nots have increased all the more. I can notice a major revolution in the retail sector. The number of shopaholics and nomophobia people have increased considerably in the last 5 years. With the massive growth of population, there is rising threat to biodiversity in India. There has been an increase in townships and multi-storied buildings in the last 5 years at an alarming rate. The industrial projects and seas have increased at the cost of agriculture and fauna, and after a lapse of 5 years, I can notice that biodiversity in Mumbai is facing more threats from multiple pollution sources like improper municipal solid waste disposal, inadequate sewerage, excessive use of chemical pesticides, and mercenary use of hazardous chemicals. The real estate developers in Mumbai have played the major role in moderating the detrimental impact of construction activities on the environment. The solar energy harnessing, energy efficient heating and cooling systems, waste and water cycling, and rainwater harvesting has also increased, which has developed Mumbai to a great extent. The people of Mumbai has also become aware of all the environmental hazards and have understood that the onus is not just the developers or on the government but on the common people in general. Introduction. Meet pleasures and palaces, though we may roam, be it even so humble, there is no place like home. There are more flyovers, discotheques, hotels, pubs, restaurants in Mumbai at present. The BPO revolution has changed the city drastically. I have decided to stay back, never to return to the cold, envious environs of London before dozing off to sleep. Advertisement, how it affected modern life. One of the destructive impact of advertisement is on ethical grounds. Watching our favorite stars promoting alcohol, cigarettes, etc. creates a impact on the people who follows them. Another disadvantage is that superior quality products that are not advertised lose their worth and the inferior ones enjoy more popularity in the market. And advertisement creates an artificial demand for things that we don't need. It compels us to purchase expensive things. It has also been seen to create disagreement with the family when the children make wish for all those advertised goods that they see on television. The various forms of advertising media are internet, online media, periodicals, newspapers, wall hoardings, cinema slides, radio, television, and banners. We are presently living in the era of advertisements. It plays a significant role in the contemporary world of business and trade. However, large or small a business is, the use of advertisement technique has become an integral part of their business strategy. Advertisements are created and painted artificially that has the potential to quickly attract customers towards itself. The ones who create compelling ads for business are called dream merchants. Their artistic, attractive, and scientific ways of representation is enough to hypnotize the general public. The unemployment column in the newspaper attracts the people who seek for job vacancies. Matrimonial advertisement serves as one of the trusted and effective channels to find bride or groom. On the other hand, advertisement is done to find lost people, shops, plots, goods, etc. Advertisement proves to be beneficial and informative to people in every walk of life. A few years down the line, we used to advertise via traditional mode such as newspapers, movie theater, magazines, or walls. Nowadays, everything is advertised via internet. Other common ways of advertisement are huge posters, banners, and signboards hung on the road crossings or walls. We see advertisements all around us. They are on televisions, magazines, on the internet, or plastered up on large billboards everywhere. Advertisers use subliminal techniques to attract the consumers. Advertisements appeal almost to everyone from a 15-year-old movie addict to a 65-year-old soap opera lover, old soap opera lover. In addition to the beautiful looking imagery, the advertisements use astounding words to entice the customers. All the claims like water is weight claim, scientific or uh, advertisers use subliminal techniques to attract the consumers. Advertisements appeal almost to everyone from a 15-year-old movie addict to a 65-year-old soap opera lover. In addition to the beautiful looking imagery, the advertisement use astounding words to entice the consumers. All that claims like water is weight claim, scientific or statistical claim, the Weasel claim, unfinished claim, or the vague claim are made by the advertisers. In fact, advertising claims have a spotty history. The snake oil advertisements seem to cure every disease under the sun, right from tuberculosis to polio. The vintage advertisements have duped so many consumers. Snake oil, a substance with no medicinal value, sold as a remedy for all diseases. Our soap opera is a popular television drama series. Our vintage means the things that are more than 25 years old. Rumor is a great traveler. Before a couple of months, a mutilated body was found at the Longowal village in Punjab. Before a couple of months, a mutilated body was found in a vacant plot at the Longowal village in Punjab. The police recovered the body of a 7-year-old child. After a preliminary investigation, the local people tipped off the police that a woman was responsible for the murder. They informed the police that Maya carried on bizarre rituals. She had lost as a local people tipped off the police that a woman named Maya was responsible for the murder. They informed the police that Maya carried on bizarre rituals. She had carried out bizarre rituals. She had lost her only child before 5 years and was so shocked that she started sacrificing the children in the name of occultism. People of Longowal told the policemen that Maya had delusional disorder. Delusional disorder. She was superstitious, and that is why she had slitted, and that was the reason why she slitted the child's throat to appease the blood sucking spirit. Slitted, slitted. Actually, many people in the village believed in this bizarre cult practices, and Maya had killed innocent children to add to this chronicle. The local people lashed Maya several times for being the suspected murderer. The policeman interrogated Maya. However, she confessed that for small living she sacrificed a small that for small things she sacrificed a chicken, for something bigger she sacrificed a goat and a buffalo. She repeatedly pleaded the police to believe her that she never killed a child. Local people also claimed that Maya performed occult rituals to gain hidden treasure in the village temple. Maya had informed the police how she had been tortured by her in laws after marriage. She was branded as a bad omen by them. She was forced to wake up in the wee hours and was asked to perform spiritual rituals as her child passed away. From then onward, she took shelter in a nearby shrine as even her parents did not allow her to stay with them. However, she was being abandoned by her in laws as well as parents. However, the police started investigating and tried to find out whether the claimed accused was really a convict or was just a rumor. After prolonged investigation, the cat came out from the bag. The policemen found that many children from the nearby villages were also missing from the last 2 years. The people suspected one another for each other for this heinous act, but proper clue was not found. The families of the missing children accused Maya for being the convict and they accused the police for the negligence of their duty. Soon the policemen found the body parts of children in different places and was surprised to find that there was an organ trade connection to the grisly killings of these children. Grisly. A doctor living in Kalyan, a village in Punjab, Kalin, was allegedly connected to a kidney racket. Naveen Chaudhary was the mastermind in the illegal kidney transplant gang. The local people thanked the policemen for detecting the criminal and were repentant for spreading the rumor. They were also penitent for torturing Maya and apologized for spreading and believing in the rumor. It is rightly said that rumor is a great traveler. আর প্যারোল কথাটার মানে হচ্ছে the temporary release of a prisoner before the expiry of a sentence for good behavior. Parole. Release on parole. Parole. আর canard, canard, canard মানে a groundless rumor or belief. Canard, canard. Canard মানে a groundless rumor or belief. Next topic. Narrate an incidents when you expected to do well, but for some reason was unable to do so. Explain why it happened and what lesson you learned from it. Narrate an incident when you expected to do well, but for some reason was unable to do so. Explain why it happened and what lesson you learned from it. My coach used to come. Um, My coach used to compliment me. People used to call me the best shuttler, shuttler, shuttler when I was at my senior school level. Shuttler, shuttler when I was at my senior school level. I reached unprecedented heights when I had won trophies and gold medals at the state level. I had been a very consistent badminton player in my district and state. When I was just 4 years old, my father discovered the rare skill that I had. Soon at high school level, I started pursuing my career as a badminton player. I worked hard for 2 years and until I bagged a gold medal for 2 years until I bagged a gold medal at the district level. I was overwhelmed. I was on cloud nine. I thought that I was the best shuttler in the district and being overconfident, I started skipping my practice sessions. My mind was on seventh heaven. I turned deaf ear to my coach's advice. Then I went to play at the national level, and quite contrary to my expectation, I was knocked out at the first round only. আর এটা আগেই লেখা উচিত ছিল মাই কোচ ওয়ার্ন মি টেলিং দ্যাট আই ওয়াজ ড্রপিং এক্সপোটেনশিয়ালি My coach warned me, telling that I was dropping exponentially. Expotentially. Actually, I lacked the incredible capacity of being hyper focused. I shrank pitifully. It was like a bolt from the blue. Tears rolled down my cheeks. The defeat was both shocking and traumatic. I feared that my coach would lash me very hard with his bitter words. However, he was calm and affectionate. He taught me the importance of humbleness and dedication. I too understood that perseverance is the key to success. We should work hard and chase our dreams. He bade me good luck for my tournaments. So he bade me good luck for my future tournaments. The heart-breaking failure still haunts me. I stopped going through exhausting training schedules. Since I was a pampered child, I could not bear with my injuries. My pontifical attitude, দেখতে হবে pontifical attitude resulted in doom. I cringed, cringed when I realized how egoistic and arrogant I became after winning at the district and state level. আর এটায় আরেকটা জিনিস বলতে হবে পি.ভি. সিন্ধু and লিন্ডান LINDAN are Saina Nehwal are my icons. PV Sindhu, Saina Nehwal, are Lindan LINDAN are my icons. Next, interviewed a famous person. ICC 2022, 2002. Sports icons are rarely good interviews viewers. They are usually too conscious about their public image to be truly and to be image. And they train to speak in bland bromides. bland bromides. Bromides. Sports icons are rarely good interviewers. They are usually too conscious about their public image and they tend to speak in bland bromides. The Time correspondent Neelanjana Roy, my elder sister, went to interview the master blaster Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar. I am a die-hard fan of Sachin and so I requested my elder sister to allow me to accompany her in the interview. We met with India's cricket star in Mumbai last month for a magazine profile that appeared in the week's issue of TIME Time. He is known as the Master Blaster for his swashbuckling batting, SWASH, swash hyphen the buckling, BUCKLING, buckling batting, and is often compared to Don Bradman, the cricket god. Tendulkar is reticent off the field. Whenever he had given interviews, he tended to steer clear of anything that was remotely controversial. Whenever he had given interviews, he tended to steer clear of anything that was remotely controversial. He has always been careful not to reveal about what goes on in the mind of a man who is revered by his cricket-crazy countrymen as a kind of divinity. He has always been careful not to reveal about what goes on in the mind of a man who is revered by his cricket crazy countrymen as a kind of divinity. However, I I was surprised when he sat in front of me in a chatty mood. However, I was surprised when he sat in front of me in a chatty mood. I wondered how could a bigwig like him be so humble. He wore that innocent $100 smile in his face. Though he artfully dodged questions about politics, but still opened up about his early years and about his struggle, I looked at him with awe and wonder, and was astonished to learn about his enduring power. He called his shoulder recalled his shoulder surgery in 2006. I asked him about his somnambulism because once I read in the newspaper that Sachin Tendulkar walks when he is asleep. Tendulkar smiled and said that he loved talking to himself at times. He told us how he faced the outswingers, SWINGERS. He told us that he was raised in a middle class family and he transmitted the values of life to his children. I asked him about his favorite sports personalities. He named them Michael Schumacher in Formula One, the tennis star Bjorn Borg, and Roger Federer. Michael Schumacher, SCHUMACHER, Schumacher in Formula One, the tennis stars Bjorn Borg, Bjorn Borg, and Roger Federer, Roger Federer. He said that the word Sachin would reverberate in his ears till he breathed last. He always loved his fans. He said that his fans traveled overseas to support him and his team. His memorable moment was when India had won the World Cup. I asked him about his humanitarian works as he was a grand ambassador in UNICEF. However, Sachin did not reveal much about his humbleness and charity. Sachin hates sledging. He is a humble soul, and after taking his interview, I could understand that yes, he is really the god of cricket. He is not only a character with a rare caliber, but also a gem of a person. Next, a play that you witnessed, ICC 1996. Macbeth is the play about subterfuge and trickery. Subterfuge and trickery. I got goosebumps when I saw Macbeth's wife and the three weird sisters. They rely on implications, riddles, and ambiguity to evade the truth. Macbeth's ability to manipulate his language and his public image in order to hide his foul crimes makes him a very modern, screaming politician. However, his inability to see past the witch's evocations, even as he utilizes the practice himself, ultimately leads to his downfall. Macbeth ignores several signs that might have alerted him to the witch's deceptive capabilities. Banquo warned Macbeth to be wary of their predictions, since evil creatures sometimes win people's confidence with honest trifles. The three weird sisters greet Banquo with a series of riddling titles hailing him as lesser than Macbeth and greater, and not so happy yet much happier. The character who played the role of Macbeth was awesome. He showed how he fell for the witch's evocations, and Macbeth and his wife are master evocators themselves. The character of the drunken potter was very lively. The potter imagined himself the keeper of the hell gates, pretends to admit an equivocator that could swear and both the scales against either scale who committed treason enough for God's sake, yet could not equivocate to heaven. One can imagine Macbeth receiving a similar welcome from the true Potter of Hell's Gate. The witch's deceptive prophecies are perhaps the most destructive instances of equivocation. They tell Macbeth that he can never be harmed by anyone born of a woman. Macbeth surgically removed from his mother's womb, and this fact was not known to Macbeth. They also prophesied that Macbeth cannot be defeated until Birnam Wood comes to the Dunshinan Hill, but they did not alert Macbeth about the possibility that the opposing army might advance on his castle under the cover of the branches cut from Birnam trees. The witches promise Macbeth fame and honor, withholding the informations about the consequences that would follow. The play Macbeth was enacted by the senior students of class 12 of my school. The characters of Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, Banquo, the three witches, Macduff, the drunken potter, King Duncan were meticulously played by the students. But Rishabh played the role of Banquo and he excelled in everything. Moreover, Saimanan played the role of Lady Macbeth, and Saina rolled the play of role of Lady Macbeth, and the scene of somnambulism was praiseworthy. এটাতে আরেকটু কিছু দিতে হবে যে দ্য হ্যামার্শিয়া অফ Macbeth was মানে যেটা প্রজেকশন অফ দি হ্যামার্শিয়া অফ ম্যাকবেথ ওয়াজ এক্সিলেন্ট। তারপর ডিউএক্স মাস মেশিন আর কোথাও ইউজ হয়েছে কিনা দেখতে হবে। ডিউএক্স মাস মেশিন আর কোথাও ম্যাকবেথে ইউজ হয়েছে কিনা ওটা খুব ভালো করে স্টেজে ইউজ করা হয়েছিল। মোট কথা স্টেজের কিছু কিছু জিনিস এতে বলতে হবে যেটা বলার নেই। এটা যদিও কেটে দেওয়া আছে, কেন আছে জানি না। অ্যানসেস্ট্রাল হাউস নিয়ে, ফাদারল্যান্ড অ্যান্ড অ্যানসেস্ট্রাল হোমস আর দ্য মোস্ট ইম্পর্টেন্ট অ্যান্ড ইন্টিমেট পার্ট অফ এভরিবডিজ লাইফ. Everyone fills up with gusto and enthusiasm when it comes to visiting our native places. As soon as I hear the word ancestral, what instantly comes to my mind is the image of a widespread greenery, a big house with halls, large rooms, antique furnitures, smell of love, pleasure, and palpable affection of our grandparents. I am feeling nostalgic when I have to remember. I feel nostalgic. I feel nostalgic when I have to remember the time when I had to leave my. I feel nostalgic uh, when I remember the time when I had to leave my ancestral house to shift in a small pigeon house for the construction of an apartment in place of our my ancestral house. My ancestral house was situated in an old and busy area of Agra. My grandfather decided to renovate the house. I remember how the garden's grandeur was destroyed to make space for the car parking. The magnificence and splendor of my house was destroyed within a few days. The house that had been the reserve of memories, repository of memories, was smashed into bits by the ruthless bulldozer. My father felt deplorable on the thought, but he could not nullify the decision of my grandfather. My comrades and I loved playing and strolling in the garden. In the scrolling garden, in the scrolling garden, but at the time of leaving the custodians of all the naughtiness, I felt sad. My aunt and my mother were In undating inundating, inundating tears, packing and shift stuffing was done with heavy hearts. Within a week, all our impedimenta and luggage were filled up in the new house. I still miss the pond where I lingered for hours with a fishing rod or feeding the fish. এটা আরো অনেক বাড়ানো যায়, যাই হোক। Next, you have a remarkable train journey. You detected a bomb in the compartment, evacuated and rescued the passengers. In confusion, lost your luggage. Give a detailed account of your adventure. On a train journey, I detected a bomb in my compartment. এটা একটা ট্রেন জার্নিটা ঠিক করে লিখতে হবে। I helped in evacuating and rescuing the passengers. In the confusion, I lost my own baggage. On 26th March 2024, I was on my way to Guwahati, Assam. My friends accompanied me in the journey. We were about to go to Kaziranga National Park. Hardly did we have our dinner at 10:30 p.m. when I noticed. Hardly we had our dinner at 10:30 p.m. when I noticed a briefcase under the basin near the washroom. I told my friends about the briefcase, but they turned deaf ear. I asked several passengers in the compartment and tried to find out the owner of the suitcase, but nobody claimed its ownership. Finally, I opened the briefcase and found a pile of dynamites with a timer. Only 3 hours were left for the bomb to explode. Felt a chill down my spine. Soon I called the GRP and RPF cops and they took the improvised explosive device IED to an explosive device. The passengers were asked to disembark the train. A dog squad rushed to the spot and they checked the train thoroughly. I felt a chill down my spine, soon I called the GRP and RPF cops and they took the improvised explosive device to an isolated place. They called for a bomb disposal squad and they said that the IED could have destroyed three coaches of the train if it was not defused in time. The bomb was spotted, but it triggered panic amongst the passengers. People were wailing and screaming. Some of them were praying to the Providence, whereas others cursed the unknown terrorists who even kept that bomb. In utter confusion, I lost my baggage. My friends were also bewildered and perplexed. Our train stopped for 3 hours and it disrupted the rail service on the route. All of us were in TZ. The bomb was packed with ball bearings and shrapnel, shrapnel. I was morosed because I had lost my belongings that costed around rupees 1 lakh. My luggage contained laptop, iPod, and a handycam. However, the only silver lining in the cloud was I could save the lives of thousands of people. William Shakespeare has rightly said, "How far the little candle throws its beam, so shines a good deed in the naughty world." The terrorists planted the bomb, and I helped the police in defusing it. Imagine a situation when a character from your favorite book comes alive. Write an imaginary account of a day spent with this character. I was coming back from school. It was my friend Rohan's birthday party on the following day. It was a theme party and all had to dress up like our favorite characters. দেখি এটা বোধহয় ফাইনাল নয়, এটা ICC 2005. Imagine a situation when your favorite character of your book came alive. Imagine a situation when the favorite character of your books came alive. I asked Harry Potter about his broomsticks. He received his first broomstick from his godfather named Nimbus 2000, which was Henry's cardinal broomstick. However, I nagged at him to take me to the fairyland with the help of the broomstick that Sirius gifted him. Sirius. Harry's broomsticks are certainly charmed objects. The broomstick was so magnificent that we could visit far flung lands with amazing speed and dexterity. Harry was incredible in everything. He is much better than Voldemort, Dumbledore, Snape, and Hermione. I liked the revengeful nature in Harry. He told me that he believed in the philosophy of wicked punishment and honest nourishment. He told me how he loved to fight against the murderers of his parents. I could not believe that a gifted wizard apprentice like Harry was sitting in front of me. I always wistfully looked towards a day when I would meet my godfather Harry Potter. Harry's poor Patronus charm attracted me the most. Harry is a representation of all the best qualities that a child can possibly have. His heroic courage, intelligence, athleticism, and loyalty attracted me. I told Harry that how I was his ardent follower. I am still going through the cumulative series of 4100 pages. I astonishingly asked him about his journey of three stages: departure, initiation, and return. Harry's initial years were much similar to mine. He was obedient, insecure, and lonely boy who loved to remain secluded from all and sundry. Harry's drastic change in character attracted me. He plucked out of his mundane life, never to return to it again. In spite of the fact that Harry is famous and admired and adored by all and sundry, he is a very humble soul. শুরুটা এরকম I was in deep slumber. Suddenly I heard someone calling out my name. I woke up to find a boy wearing black robes standing beside my bed. He was none other than Harry Potter. Harry told me that Voldemort and his followers were preparing to destroy the school and were planning to kill Harry. Harry taught them a lesson. Harry showed me unbelievable tricks with the help of his magic wand. He made the trees turn yellow. His funny tricks made my stomach ache with laughter. His funny tricks threw me in peals of laughter. He did not like watching movies on television, nor did he like playing games on my computer. He wasn't older than me, but his sparkling eyes looking at me from behind his spectacles and his clothes made me feel that he had come from the utopian world. He could conjure up anything under the sun. All of a sudden, I woke up and realized that it was a dream. But the dream will be forever memorable to me. After all, Harry Potter is the best conjurer of all times. Next, ICC 2004. Two deeds that gave you immense joy while others were cause of deep regret. How far that little candle throws its beam. So shines a good deed in the naughty world. William Shakespeare in his play The Merchant of Venice. In the play The Merchant of Venice. Indeed, good deeds enrich our lives and people appreciate us for it. They give us immense joy and satisfaction, while some of our actions cause deep regret and unhappiness. In the words of P. J. Bailey, we live in deeds, not in years, in thought, not breath, in feeling, not figures on our dial. I distinctly recall the last summer while I was going to school on a bicycle. I saw a huge crowd on the roadside. Recognizing the bicycle of my friend Abhay lying on the road, I made my way through the crowd and found him lying in a pool of blood. He had apparently been knocked down by a speeding car. Quickly taking stock of the situation, I signaled a car to stop. Taking the help of the standards, I put Abhay in the car and sped towards the civil hospital. The doctors in the trauma ward decided to go for an emergency operation because of the serious head injury. They asked me for immediately arrange for blood of O group because due to internal hemorrhage our RBC count was considerably low. Two deeds that gave you immense joy while others were cause of deep regret. How far the little candle throws its beam, so shines a good deed in the naughty world, said William Shakespeare in the play The Merchant of Venice. Indeed, good deeds enrich our lives and people appreciate us for it. They give us immense joy and satisfaction while some of our actions are cause of deep regret and unhappiness. In the words of P. J. Bailey, we live in deeds, not in years, in thought, not in breath. In thought, we live in deeds, not in years, in thought, not breath, in feeling, not figures on our dial. I distinctly recall the last summer I was going to school on a bicycle. I saw a huge crowd on the roadside. Recognizing the bicycle of my friend Abhay lying on the road, I made my way through the crowd and found him lying in a pool of blood. He had apparently been knocked down by a speeding car. Quickly taking stock of the situation, I signaled a car to stop. Taking the help of the bystanders, I put Abhay in the car and sped towards the civil hospital. The doctors in the trauma ward decided to go for an emergency operation because of the serious head injury. They asked me to immediately arrange for blood of O group because due to internal hemorrhage, Abhay's RBC count was considerably low. Fortunately, I have O blood group and so I donated the required blood. My blood group being same, I volunteered and was immediately wheeled into the OT. While the blood transfusion was going on, I felt dizzy. A little later, I opened my eyes and found Abhay's parents by my bed. Their eyes brimmed with tears and they held my hand. However, today was a horrific day. Since our chauffeur was uh, absent today, I drove the car myself. I became a little bit careless, and because Rohan called me up, being engrossed in the phone call, I became a bit absent minded, and a poor little puppy succumbed to death. I am myself an animal activist, but unfortunately hit the poor little puppy. Tears rolled down my cheeks. Six little puppies were sitting in a nearby shop, and the smallest one ran across the road and it came under my car. I cursed myself and asked for mercy from the Providence. I have always shown little acts of kindness right from my childhood, and perhaps those incidents will help me overcome this ignominy. ICC 1997. আচ্ছা এটা আগে করছি না এই পেন আঁকা এই খাতাটার থেকে সোজা করছি এবার। এটা ছিল রেড কালারের একটা, এর আগেরটা ছিল একটা রেড কালারের হার্ড বাইন্ড না, সফট বাইন্ড রেড কালারের একটা খাতা। এটায় আসছে সেই পেন আঁকা ব্লু কালারের খাতাটায়। এটা হচ্ছে, you have been on a plane journey recently. While going through a cloud, the plane developed an engine trouble. Describe what took place in the plane and how you were saved. The plane started juddering 30 minutes after we took off from Chennai at 9:10 a.m. Ma International Airport, লেখা উচিত। There was a sudden loud sound as if something had been sucked into the engine. A few passengers among us could smell the danger. We got to know about the engine failure when the plane shook violently and the failing engine growled menacingly. The aircraft began shaking, and we could see worry on the faces of the cabin crew who were on their breakfast rounds. The cabin filled with voices of inquiring passengers. It was scary, a situation where it is not possible to predict how it will unravel. But few minutes later, the commander's voice came. The captain announced that has been an engine failure, that we are being supported by the second supporter. We were being supported by the second engine, which was working well, and we landed in the next 20 minutes. About 30 minutes after departure, there was loud sound like a firecracker. From my 12C seat, I saw a flash outside the left window. I tried to stay calm. Passengers were talking nervously. When we stepped out of the aircraft, we saw ambulances and fire brigades line up with light flashing. We were barely at 2,000 feet when there was a smell of smoke inside the cabin. I was seated in the front row and saw the faces of the cabin crew strapped in their seats in front of us turn pale. I was sitting in front row and saw the faces of the cabin crew. এবার 12C বোধহয় একদম সামনের দিকে সিট হয় না, এগুলো দেখতে হবে। Strapped in their seats in front of us turned pale. My co-passenger, a former Air Force pilot, could make out that the engine had failed. Next. It was unnerving. Some passengers sobbed loudly. When the aircraft landed safely, the cabin erupted in applause. Cabin? Cabin crew হওয়া উচিত। Erupted in applause. Before disembarking, went to the cockpit to congratulate the crew. The co-pilot, who was rather young, appeared scared. Our Indigo aircraft suffered a mid-air engine failure with a loud bang on Thursday, and the Civil Aviation Ministry had taken serious note of the incident. The incident forced the A320neo aircraft to return to Chennai under emergency conditions. The number of people on board the flight could not be ascertained. The A32 ONEO faced multiple problems like smoke, Heavy vibration, long bang, and engines stalled. The pilot said that the aircraft have been facing glitches every now and then. The captain announced that there had been an engine failure and we were supported by the second engine. We landed back to Chennai in 25 minutes. Connected to add Karachi, Indigo, India's largest domestic airline, has earned a reprieve with the aviation REPRIEVE with the aviation regulator extending a deadline to replace and Pratt and Whitney on যাই হোক এটা পরে দেখছি P and W engines have suffered repeated snags, causing large-scale flight disruptions. এই P and W enginesটাকে বলছে Pratt and Whitney, WHIT Pratt and Whitney engines have suffered repeated snags, causing large-scale flight disruptions. আরেকটা হচ্ছে Majumdar's Indigo flight suffered an engine failure on March 5, had taken off around 6:40 am. Half an hour into the flight, the plane started jazzering. Passengers were talking nervously. The captain made no announcement. Around 7:10 p.m., the flight landed and the passengers clapped and cheered loudly. Um, when they came out, they saw ambulances and fire brigades lined up with fly lights flashing. For Chris Lakshmikant, founder chairman, suffered an engine failure. There was much drama on board too. During takeoff itself, I realized something was amiss in the engine was making unusual sound, said the frequent flyer. We were barely at 2000 feet where there was a smell of smoke inside the cabin. I was seated in the front row and saw the faces of the cabin crew strapped in their seats STRAPP, the strapped in their seats in front of us turned pale, said Lakshmikant. My co-passenger was a former Air Force pilot and he said the engine seems to have failed. It was unnerving. Some passengers began crying, he said. When the aircraft landed safely, the cabin erupted in applause. Cabin cabin erupted in applause. Before disembarking, I went to the cockpit to congratulate the uh, crew. The co-pilot, who was rather young, appeared scared. An Indigo Airbus A32ONEO plane suffered a mid-air engine failure with a loud bang on Thursday, and the Civil Aviation Ministry has taken serious note of the incident, sources said. The latest incident involving another Pratt and Whitney engine happened Another Pratt and Whitney engine happened when the aircraft was flying to Kolkata from Chennai on January 3rd. The plane returned midway to Chennai and has been grounded there since due to damaged engine blades, they said. One of the P and W engines of Indigo Neo aircraft operating on Chennai-Kolkata route on January 3 stalled 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 mid-air followed by a loud bang and sparks from it and smoke leading to heavy vibrations. The incident forced the A32ONEO Neo aircraft to return to Chennai under emergency conditions, he added. The number of people on board the flight could not be ascertained. This was the first time that an A32 Oneo faced multiple problems: smoke, heavy vibration, loud bang, engine stalled in one single flight. A few passengers flying on the planes told the Times of India that they did get to know about the failure as the plane shook violently or the failing engine growled menacingly. About 30 minutes after departure, there was a loud sound like a firecracker. From my 12C seat, I saw a flash outside the left window, said sport historian Boria Majumdar, who was on Mumbai Kolkata flight that faced engine failure and returned to Mumbai recently. Some started screaming as the plane shook violently. It was like being in a car that had sped through three speed breakers. 30 minutes after we took off from Ma International Airport at 9:10 am, there was a sudden loud sound as if something had been sucked up into the engine, said Dhaval Gogani, a marketing professional who was on board that suffered an engine failure on Monday. On board Indigo flight, on board Chennai Kolkata flight that suffered an engine failure on Monday. The aircraft began shaking, and we could see worry on the faces of the cabin crew who were on their breakfast rounds. The cabin filled with voices of inquiring passengers. It was a scary situation where it is not possible to predict how it will unravel, how it would unravel. But minutes later, the commander's voice came on. The captain announced that there has been an engine failure, but we were supported by the second engine, which was working well, and we landed in 25 minutes. His voice was rather calm, said it proved a few passengers flying on the same plane told that they did get to know about the failure as the plane shook violently or the failing engine growled menacingly. The crew followed the normal operating procedures and asked for a priority landing. There was no engine shutdown, no emergency landing was declared as per the report. Meanwhile, the government's Apex Air Flight Investigation Body AAIB Apex Aircraft Investigation Body had rushed a team to Chennai to assess the incident and take a call on the probe. The bureau, which investigates serious incidents and incidents involving Indian registered aircraft, is already probing Indigo flight smoke incident on December. Queries sent to Pratt and Whitney remained unanswered. Pratt and Whitney, এটা একটা এয়ারক্রাফটের কিছু আর একটা এয়ারক্রাফটের একটা নাম মনে রাখতে হয়, এই যে A32ONEO বা A320320 নিও প্লেন, এনিও A320 নিও প্লেন। আর এটাকে বলছে P&W engines. Pratt and Whitney, Pratt and Whit anyway. Pratt and Whitney. Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau. Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau. ওই যে একটা ছিল না যে একজন ফেমাস পার্সোনালিটিকে ইন্টারভিউ করেছে, ওটায় আরেকজনের ইয়ে আছে যে গেটিং অপরচুনিটি টু ইন্টারভিউ sports person like Sachin Tendulkar is not as easy, especially if they happen to be a celebrity like him. Interviewing a sports person is not easy, especially if if he happens to be the god of cricket of India. My dodged persistence, however, paid off. Dodged persistence, however, paid off. For one fine day, his personal secretary rang me up to inform that I could come for the interview with the minister come for the interview with the cricketer on 1st March sharp at 9 a.m. He cautioned me to be punctual Sachin had a busy schedule. I felt apprehensive and a little nervous as the day approached. In meantime, I meticulously prepared for the interview, carefully choosing questions on his life, mission, and passion. On the appointed day, I reached 10 Ashoka Road, the official residence of Sachin Tendulkar. The whitewashed building was like any other many other bungalows of the people. At the far end of the drive, a white kennel from which emerged a ferocious German shepherd who heralded my presence with his incessant barking. এই যো, কি বলছে? At the far end of the driveway, a white kennel from which emerged a ferocious German Shepherd who heralded my presence with his incessant barking. I was quickly ushered into a big drawing room by a butler wearing a colored turban atop his white uniform. The tastefully decorated room had huge oil paintings by renowned painters depicting the pain and agony of animals. The wall-to-wall carpeted room had elegant sofas and chairs. On the showcase were big mementos and awards received from national and international games. তারপরে national and international matches. I had barely seated down on a sofa when Sachin Tendulkar, wearing a light pink t-shirt, walked in, greeting me with a smile. He had a cheerful grin on his face as he sat next to me, inquiring about the purpose of my visit. My speech faltered as I somehow conveyed why I had come, sweating with nervousness. I had ওটাকে বলা যায় goose I had butterflies in my stomach. However, her informal style and charisma made me confident, and I set about questions on her life and mission. On his life and mission. His reply to a personal question caught me off guard. I don't want to talk about myself. সে বলল আর কি। And then he informed দাঁড়া She seemed unhappy with the pace of implementation of some of the এইটা আর লেখা যাবে না হুম Relate a special incident and experience in your life which you recall with happiness. Think of a time when you achieved a personal goal. Say why the goal was important to you and how you achieved it, keeping the students abreast with the latest technology. On 8th August 2026, 25 হবে এটা on 8th August 2025, our school organized the inter-school declamation competition that served as an ideal platform for felicitating and exchange of ideas among the students fraternity. The declamation contest was conducted for the students of senior classes. The dynamic participants mesmerized the audience with their vibrant oratory skills. They were made to be present with their views on the diverse topic within the given time limit. The program started with our principal ma'am's inaugural speech, highlighting of the lamp and Saraswati Bandana. The president of our school delivered an impromptu speech and highlighted the accomplishments of our school in the past academic years. The most anticipated part of the evening began with lots of gusto and excitement. The hard earned joys are the sweetest, and I experienced, uh, congratulated, and appreciated the efforts put by the persuasive orators. When I bagged the first prize in the declamation competition, our principal ma'am uh, congratulated and appreciated the efforts made by the persuasive orators. The word declamation is derived from the Latin word declaim, which means to speak in a rhetorical manner with a feel. This competition served as a platform to promote an exchange of ideas among the students. This competition served as a platform to promote an exchange of ideas among the students. Talented participants left the audience spellbound with the help of their meticulous views on the given topics. The exuberant participants jealously put forward their views on the given topics. The exuberant participants zealously put forward their views on the given topics. The zealously, ZDALOUSLY, the exuberant participants zealously put forward their views on the given topics. The students' perspectives regarding the topics were acknowledged and applauded by the judges and the audience. This competition enhanced my critical thinking and improved the communication skills, thus making me multifaceted and versatile. The competition was judged on the basis of the introduction, memorization, diction, delivery, and content. The listeners were impressed by the confidence exhibited by the students as they voiced their opinion in strong and powerful words. It was a neck to neck competition where each tried to outshine the other to the best of his or her ability. Declamation is about re-delivering of an important or famous speech. The speaker reinterprets the original, reproducing its power. It is a very good exercise for public speaking skills. The purpose was to have the students directly experience the power of masterfully crafted language. This method of teaching was used in ancient Greece, where public speaking was considered a necessary art of anybody embarking on a career in public. The hard earned joys are the sweetest one. Such joy I experienced last week as a result of slogging hard for a month. It all started at the beginning of the last month. My English teacher approached me in the middle of the chemistry class. Seeing the papers in her hand, I immediately guessed what a pleasant surprise was awaiting me. She gave me a list of topics. However, since I am a votaress of Shakespeare, I decided to work on the Shakespearean monologues. After prolonged sessions of rehearsals a day before the declamation contest, I was asked to deliver the speech in the morning assembly. The entire school responded to the ending of my speech with clapping thunder. It enthused me with the confidence and self belief. The morning of the competition arrived. I reached the venue and I had butterflies in my stomach. I gave my soulful and flawless rendition and received the standing ovation from the audience. Received the standing ovation from the audience. হয়ে গেল। মানে At the end, the judges declared the result. I jumped out of my chair when my name was declared as the first prize winner. I have always won many laurels for my school. However, this victory was more special for me. I was on cloud nine. I still cherish the moment and the words hip hip hurrah uh, still reverberates in my ears. Three cheers for DPS Megacity hip hip hurrah. Learned a lesson that equanimity is very important in achieving my goal. EQUANIMITY. Calmness and composure in difficult situation. Even today, when I recall the incident, it brings immense joy and happiness to me. It was one of the happiest days of my life, and I shall cherish this day in the coming years. I gave my soulful and flawless rendition and received the standing ovation from the audience.